Yo guys, what's up? So before we actually start, I would just like to say thanks to the folks over at XP Pen for sending me their latest tablet, the Deco 03. It's a regular graphics tablet, which means it doesn't have a screen, which is totally fine with me because I actually prefer the non-screen tablets, and it's pretty awesome. I have to be honest, I kind of fell in love with it over the last few days, and the special part about this tablet is, as you can see on the screen, it has this little red wheel that you can spin around, and by spinning it, you can set it to, for example, change the size of your brushes or rotate the canvas in your program and stuff like that, which is really useful, and it kind of speeds up my workflow. So thanks again to XP Pen for sending me this tablet for this video. I really appreciate it, and I do love it. Like, it's a pretty awesome tablet, and it's only $100. So I'm gonna post the links down below in the description for you to check it out on Amazon. And if you're out if you're out on the market looking for a tablet, then I can only recommend this one. I've tested a lot. I think I've tested like 10 to 15 different tablets, and this is one of the better ones, if not the best one in this price range. So yeah, check it out on Amazon. And the painting you will see in a minute is actually drawn with this tablet. So yeah, you can see it's like totally capable of doing whatever I do on a daily basis. So I don't require anything else than this tablet. It really delivers everything that I need. So thanks again, XP Pen, for sending me this tablet. I really appreciate it. And yeah, I would say let's just jump into the video. Alright guys, so in today's video, what I would like to talk about is having art blocks, because I think this is something that way too many people seem to struggle with. Like, I don't want to like exclude myself, because I used to struggle with that a lot, and I still experience art blocks, but I did find a few tricks that kind of like get me out of an art block easily. And that's mainly what I want to talk about in today's video, the ways or the tricks that I use to get out of an art block. Because like a few years ago, I used to have really bad art blocks that kind of like stopped me from drawing for weeks. And you don't want to get into those art blocks. You want to avoid them because they're really not good for you, and they just make it so much harder as an artist. So you want to avoid art blocks as much as possible. And there are a few ways to avoid them, and there are tricks to actually get out of an art block. And I would just like to talk about them and share my experience, and yeah, see if they help you. So first things first. So the reason why I end up in art blocks, and I think the reason is that I look at other people's work and I compare myself to them. And the problem is that when the person you're comparing yourself to is way more experienced than you are. So if that person has been drawing for like 20 years and you have only been drawing for like 2 years, then it's a pretty unfair comparison, because they have so much more experience, and they might be art directors at companies, or who knows, like, and so it's really unfair, and it's really hard to keep up. So I wouldn't actually compare myself to people who are that experienced, because it doesn't actually give you like a boost in confidence. What it actually does is it kind of frustrates you, because you notice how bad your art is. Even though it's not that bad, because you have to consider how long you've been drawing for. So you can't expect to have art in the quality of somebody who's been drawing 20 years. You have to expect the quality of somebody who's been drawing for 2 years. And even then, I wouldn't advise anybody to compare yourself to somebody, to compare themselves to somebody who's been drawing for the same amount of time, because they might be in a different situation. They may not have to work a full-time job, or they might go to art school. Maybe they have a private teacher, or maybe they study more efficiently. So you don't know the facts behind them being better than you. So don't compare yourself to other people. Compare yourself to yourself. That's what you want to do. You want to look at your work that you've drawn a few months ago and look at your most recent drawings and see some kind of improvement. And that kind of is the most important thing you have to do. Be better than who you were. you actually shouldn't even care about other people. Like, who cares what they are doing? Who cares what my neighbor is doing? Like, I don't care how good he is at art. Like, I care about myself and where I will be in 5 years from now. So you have to be somewhat selfish. And yeah, so that's the reason why I end up in art blocks, because I compare myself to somebody that's way better, and I see my art in comparison and it looks bad and it frustrates me. I get depressed, and I don't have that motivation anymore, and I end up in an art block. So you want to avoid that, and you avoid that by not comparing yourself. But what if you are already in an art block? Because it happens from time to time. Sometimes you just end up in an art block. And what then? So whenever I'm in an art block, what I like to do is there are two methods that I apply that help me getting out of an art block. And they work 100% of the time. Because I think art blocks, they don't really exist. They only exist in our brains, but they're not like tangible in the real world. They're not like, it's just your mind playing a trick on you. There's like a little guy sitting in there that doesn't like you, and he keeps telling you like, you can't draw, you don't have the skills, you're not creative enough, and you should just like give up. And we need to shut that sucker up, because he's not doing us any good, and he doesn't like us, and we don't like him. So the way we do that is we have to play tricks on him. So the first method is to go ahead and draw something that you feel really confident about. So something that is easy for you to draw. You don't want to draw something that you struggle with. So if you don't know how to draw cars or buildings or animals, then don't even try to draw that, because it's going to worsen the situation. What you want to do is you want to draw something that is really easy to you, you feel confident about it, and you know you can pull it off. So in my case, that is drawing portraits. So what I do is I just go ahead and draw a very generic portrait, something that is very easy, not a difficult pose, not a difficult angle, something that I know I can do. And the trick behind that is that once I pulled it off successfully, it kind of gives me a boost in confidence, and it gets me out of an art block like immediately. Like, I'm out of an art block like that, just like that. And that's the cool part. It's really easy, and it gets you out of an art block. That's what we want to do, right? And so the next method, the second method, or the second trick to apply is to do something that doesn't require any creativity. Because when we're in an art block, we already feel like we're not creative enough. Like, we can't come up with any ideas, and we're just lost in nothing. Like, our minds are blank, and we can't come up with anything that's cool or unique. So what we have to do is, our goal should be to draw. So it doesn't have to be good that we're doesn't have to be anything good that we're drawing. We just want to draw, because that's like the main thing we have to do when we're in an art block. We have to start drawing. So you draw something that doesn't require any creativity at all. And for example, what you could do is you could do studies. So you could study anatomy, because when you're studying anatomy, it doesn't require creativity. It only requires your attention. Like, you have to be focused on it, but you don't have to be creative. So what I do, for example, I take my sketchbook and I draw like pages of skulls. So I Google references of human skulls, and I fill up pages of my sketchbook with human skulls, and I study them, and then I do studies of hands and ears and eyes and stuff like that. And that kind of gets you sitting down at your drawing desk and gets you started drawing. And that's like what we want to do, right? And once you do that, you kind of forget about the art block. It's not on your mind anymore. And doing these studies gives you that kind of this confidence in yourself that you can do it, that you're able to draw. And from there, you can move on to something more complex. But it's really important to get to the point where you pick up that pencil and start sketching. That's like the most important thing you have to do when you're in an art block. And yeah, that kind of is what I do when I'm in an art block. And I know it sounds a little bit silly, but try it out. See if it works for you. It definitely works for me. And I can almost guarantee that it works for you as well, because art blocks, they don't exist. They're just like silly tricks of our mind. It kind of like, there's like something in our head that keeps telling us we can't do it, and we have to beat that voice. We have to shut it up. And we do that by playing tricks on it. So yeah. And another thing I would like to mention is that I believe that many people, they confuse art blocks with laziness, or with days where we just don't feel like drawing, because we all have those days where we just we don't like to draw, right? And I have these days, like once every 2 weeks or so, I have a day where I don't feel like sitting down at my desk and picking up the pencil. I just feel like doing something else, something that is easy, something that's relaxing, something stupid, maybe playing video games, watching a movie, I don't know, doing something, or going out with my family, having a nice day outside. And it's totally natural. Like from time to time, we need to step away from the drawing desk and just do something else, like live life. There's life outside of the art world, right? And sometimes we get lost in this art thing. It definitely happens to me a lot. Like sometimes I'm just like, I don't know, like I think I spend more time with my pencils than with anybody else. So that's kind of crazy, but that's just life of an artist, right? But I'm really passionate about it, and I chose this path, and that's just part of it. But we have to remind ourselves that there's life outside of art, and it's good to step back from time to time, take a break, relax, and do something else. So those days are not art blocks. Those are just days where we need to take a break. But art blocks are days where, or is a phase where we feel depressed, frustrated, not creative. We feel down, and those are the days we need to beat. Like, we can't allow these days to happen, and we avoid them as good as possible by not bringing us down. And if we are in an art block, we try to get out of them as fast as possible. And I use the 2 techniques that I mentioned in this video. So yeah, I guess that kind of wraps it up for today's video. I hope you liked it. I'm not too sure, because this is kind of like a personal thing that I use for my own workflow. I don't know if it actually works for anybody else, but this is just what I do. And my experience is that it always works. I just have to start drawing. That's like the main thing I have to do whenever I'm in an art block. So let me know in the comments what you think. Maybe you do something totally else that helps you whenever you're in an art block. So I would love to hear your opinion and your thoughts on this topic. So leave a comment, and if you like this video, then give it a thumbs up. That would be really awesome. And if you want to see more of my videos, then perhaps subscribe to my channel. That would be amazing. Like, I would love you forever if you would do that. So yeah, thanks for watching this video. And as always, guys, I love you with all my heart and soul. And I hope to see you in my next video. Peace.